Residents have been taking to the streets this week in several towns in North Kivu following attacks by fighters from the Allied Democratic Forces. Protesters blocked roads and burnt down government and UN buildings in response to the attacks. We have asked Political Analyst Dr. Claude Kabemba, who heads the Open Society Initiative for Southern Africa, OSISA, to join us now via Skype, and he is in Johannesburg. Dr. Kabemba, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the Globe.
Good evening, Simpio. I run the Southern Africa Resource Watch and not OSISA. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that clarification. Our apologies. Now, from your understanding is there any evidence that the situation has normalized?
Look, the situation can only normalize if the Allied Democratic Forces cannot slaughter civilians anymore. As long as the Allied Democratic Forces are still in the neighborhood and potential for attacks every day remains, we cannot say the situation has been normalized. It's not possible.
Then we do understand that the Congolese were angered by the failure of security forces to stop the attack that killed 8 people. From your analysis or your understanding of the situation, what are the authorities saying?
No, but the 8 people is just a drop in an iceberg. People have been killed for the past 20 years. The people of DRC in the east of the country are tired, are fed up, and they think that they are not being protected, both by their own government and the national army and the United Nations peacekeeping force. So they think in the presence of these 2 forces, they are still being killed and slaughtered by a group of 1,000 rebels or militias. And they think it's not acceptable, and they think they can now protect themselves because even in presence of their own army and the peacekeeping force, they've been killed. There's no need for the United Peacekeeping Force to be in the country for the past 20 years to fail to really dislocate and paralyze this rebel group. So it's simply people fed up. The killing of the 8 people is simply what we've heard. People have been killed every day, every night in that part of the country. So I think really if you've been following the situation in that country, you have to really sympathize with the Congolese people.
I mean, we saw this week some of the Congolese storming a UN compound, demanding the United Nations troops to leave the country. Are you also of the view? Do you think the United Nations should pack up and go?
I think that type of action is an action to call for support, for help to be heard, because they are in a desperate situation. They are sending signals to the rest of the world, more importantly, to key African institutions such as the AU and SADC, to try and figure out what they can do, because the United Nations is not helping. The Congolese government is weak and cannot, and whoever thinks that the Congolese government and the army can resolve that problem, they are on the wrong side of the truth. We need a sincere, committed intervention. That can only come for people who have to side with the Congolese people. But what we've seen in that part of the country is that the abundance of minerals, the fact that the state is unable to control its minerals, these minerals have been left to be captured by this rebels group, who end up selling them to other people, and these minerals get on the international market. And these are the same minerals we are consuming in our laptop, in our cell phones. And many of the neighboring countries make a lot of money through this type of instability. So it's not a matter of, is it a call, does it make sense, or should it? It's a call of desperation, and people need to listen to that. So what should be done? I think it's more of an international call for some people somewhere to listen. But the question, who is capable of listening and providing a sustainable solution to that problem, which has been going, in fact, it's been going on since 1996 with the intervention that overthrew Mobutu. The war has continued in the DRC non-stop until today. It's unacceptable. And we have leaders. We have institutions like SABC. We have countries on this continent that stand on values of unity. And we want to move Africa forward with that kind of instability in the Congo, which is a very important strategic country for this continent, to allow that instability to go on.
Dr. Kabemba, I suppose that we need to start interrogating this issue from different angles. On the one hand, the Congolese concerns are very valid. The concerns about the United Nations presence in that country are fully understandable and valid. And then on the other hand, we need to understand that MONUSCO is also stretched. Its funding has been successively cut at each mandate renewal. And there's also wide expectations that even the troop contingent might even dropped by 1,500.
But simply, this peacekeeping force has been there for almost 20 years. That is a simplistic argument to say simply because in the few years or in they have been stretched with finances and so. No. We have the SADC rapid reaction group in there, composed of South Africa, Malawi, Tanzania. We don't hear what they are doing. We don't hear what they are effectively doing to deal with this situation. Because you remember that is the same group that pushed out the M23, which was the more sophisticated, organized army. They were able to push it out. But against this far more disorganized, very small group of, in fact, the ADF is not a Congolese rebel group, it's a Ugandan rebels group. So the Congolese instability is not internal, it's regional. So we can only find a solution when we start asking a critical question: what is the cause of the problem in that part of the DRC? It's not an internal Congolese problem. It's a problem of instability and political problems in the neighboring countries. As long as we will not resolve the problem of Uganda with its rebels, of Rwanda with its rebels, of Burundi with its rebels, we will not resolve that problem of the Congo. So it's simply, and that's why people think there is a conspiracy just to pillage the resource of the Democratic Republic of Congo, because people accept to delay peace in that country when we know the origin of the problem.
All right, Dr. Kabemba, we thank you so much for your time and your analysis. Much appreciated. That was Political Analyst Dr. Claude Kabemba, who heads the Natural Resources Governance Initiative of the Open Society Initiative for Southern Africa.